Welcome back. Sarah Schreiner returning to the show. Excellent photographer in Kamloops, and she is with Exposure Kamloops, the name of her company. Great to have you back on the show.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a while indeed. Sarah, as I mentioned, local photographer, has been hired by a couple of different groups in town to start off a project and get it going in regard to the issue of overdose, illicit drug use in our community. So good for you, and tell me about it.
So I'm working with the Kamloops Arts Council and the Kamloops Addictions Coalition. And what we're doing is we're creating a photo voice project centered around substance use and addiction in our community. The idea behind a photo voice project is we are creating a massive art piece that we're hoping will help destigmatize the subject of addiction. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing is I'm working with substance users and addiction addicts in our community through the Addictions Coalition. So I'm working with the different services in the city. And I'm going in and teaching photography. And then I am giving cameras to the people that I'm working with, and they are going to go out and they are going to take photographs that tell you something about them as a person. So if you imagine when you hear the word addiction, so many times people just take an automatic step back, as if it's not a topic that maybe relates to them and therefore they don't want to participate in it, or they feel like it doesn't impact them and therefore it's not their problem.
Right.
What we're doing is we're creating an art piece that will help people find something that they can relate to. So if you see, we brought some image samples, for example.
We do have 3 samples.
So if you see an image of, say, a child's feet, and the image underneath the caption says, "I love my kids as much as you do."
We have this picture. If we could go to it, that'd be great. I'm pretty sure we have them downstairs. There we go.
So here's one. So here's a bookcase, and it simply says, "I've always been an introvert, but hiding my addiction has been painfully isolating."
Right.
Lots of people can relate to that image, and they can find something about that image that is familiar to them. So that's the idea of the kinds of images that people will be creating. What they will create is entirely up to them.
Who is taking the pictures?
So the people taking the images are people that are accessing addiction services in our community. I'm providing them with cameras. So one of the things that the project needs to go forward is we need the old digital cameras sitting in your kitchen drawers that you don't use anymore. We're trying to keep the cost of this project as low as possible, because this is a social project. This is not a project that's making any money.
Yes.
So we need as many cameras as we can get. So we're not looking for cameras that have any real monetary value. We're looking for the ones that are in your kitchen drawer that you haven't picked them up in 2 years. If you have something like that you would like to donate to us so that we can use it, you can drop them off at the TCC or the Interior Health Center on King Street on the North Shore. So the idea of the project is to create an art piece that will help people better relate to the conversation. And I think it's important because imagery, it's sometimes easier for people to show you versus tell you. If you've been through a traumatic situation, explaining how you feel or talking about it can be really difficult, and it's easier to show. The other thing that's really important about photography and using photography for this topic is that so often when we take a volatile conversation, something that people feel really strongly about, we start talking over each other. And we start an argument instead of actually listening. What happens with imagery is you look at it, you consider it, you contemplate what's being said, and you walk away thinking about it. Instead of having, so often I see online when you see conversations around this topic, it's this really volatile back and forth.
Well, it's such a controversial issue.
Such an issue, and I think it's an important one to have. For myself, I think that so many people think it's not a topic that they need to consider, but I have teenagers at home. I have 2 teenage daughters, and then around those teenage daughters, I probably have 20 other teenage kids that I love. And it would be incredibly naive of me to believe that this isn't a topic that I need to consider and talk about.
Absolutely.
So I think that as a community, this is an important topic. I think that the way that the Kamloops Arts Council and the Addictions Coalition is going about trying to initiate conversation in a safe manner Anonymity with these photos is huge. Part of my job is curating the images to ensure that when you look at the image, you won't know who took it.
Sure.
Another part of this that we're really trying to bring across to everybody, I need to have input from those users that use behind closed doors. That is a huge part of our community that is at the highest risk for overdose because they aren't seeking any help and nobody knows that it's happening. So what we've done is we created an email address that is photovoicekamloops@gmail.com. Again, that's photovoicekamloops@gmail.com. People can submit images there and it is completely anonymous. I will not be responding to them. I will not be verifying email addresses. There are lots of ways to get online and create an email address that is not traced back to you that you can submit an image to. We want to hear from you because we need those people to be part of the conversation.
We had 2 more pictures that we had sent downstairs. I don't know if we could bring them up because they help to. Here's the one you're talking about.
So this is the first one that's actually my own children. So I created these images. So what the actual images will be in the end, we don't know. But this gives you an example when I'm asking for images and I'm suggesting that people can participate without going through one of the local service organizations. This is what we're talking about. So we're talking about a photograph in which you can't tell who it is. And I want you to create a statement with it. So here you have the makeup and it says, my friends think I'm the life of the party. They don't know that I can't stop. There's so many people that have addicts in our life that don't know what's happening. And until we initiate conversation and make it safe for people to start having conversation and remove the stigma, we aren't going to be able to help them.
Well said. We're almost out of time, but Sarah, where will this project be shown? Where can people see it? What happens when it's all put together? How will it present its help?
It'll be presented in multiple different ways.
Okay.
As the project evolves, it'll depend on how the Addictions Coalition wants to use it once they see the final product. So.
Good for you. So you're hoping for lots of response. Again, can you share that email with the viewers because we don't have that?
It's photovoicekamloops@gmail.com if you would like to contact me or you would like to submit an image. If you would like to contact me but you want to have a conversation with me, just say so in the email and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, I'm going to ignore where it came from. We also need cameras. So if you have a camera you can donate, TCC at the front desk or Interior Health on King Street.
Good for you. Sounds like a fantastic project. You're going to have to keep us informed as we go along here.
I'm very excited about it.
Okay. Photovoicekamloops@gmail.com. If you're looking to get a hold of Sarah, say so in the email. Otherwise, you're welcome to just drop off or rather send along your picture via that. Photovoicekamloops@gmail.com. Quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.